A new survey from J.D. Power shows homeowners insurance property claims have become a pain point for consumers. The study finding that the number of catastrophic events, premium increases, and slow repair cycle times have constrained customer satisfaction with these claims processes. Here to dig into the survey, we've got Mark Garrett, J.D. Power Director of Insurance Intelligence. Mark, the second I saw J.D. Power publish this, we had to discuss this further, especially considering some of the most recent catastrophic events impacting families and households and when they're ultimately seeing some of those pressures alleviated through the claims process. What are you seeing, broad strokes here?
Yeah, broad strokes, unfortunately, it was another really tough year for the industry. The last time we reported on this data, the industry was just coming out of a record-breaking number of extreme weather events, right? So it was the all-time record. They've been tracking this data for 40 years. And, 2023 set the record for 28 events. Last year, we just had 27 events. So right there's no signs of this really slowing down. So we're just seeing that this is just a stressful time for the industry, right? Just to get the resources, not only from the insurance companies, but getting the contractors, the materials available, being responsive to customers. We see all of these things just starting to strain. That's why we're seeing the process slow down. This is the longest we've seen the cycle times being reported. So for customers to get fully paid for their claim, we're seeing about 45 days. We've never seen the process take this long. And as you had mentioned, one thing that kind of sets the backdrop to this is a lot of customers are entering this having a premium increase, right? So they know, kind of top of mind, they know that their policy is renewed. Sometimes they're seeing 20, 30% rate increases, and they're getting a lot of media attention around this too. So what we're finding is I think they're almost starting in a hole to some degree when you're having this process, because you're already a little skeptical about, okay, why are my rates increasing? You go and have this claim and maybe have some challenges. Maybe there's, your coverage isn't quite working the way you thought it would. We know there's generally just a literacy issue around insurance. Do people really understand, their coverage and how it's going to work? And then you go into a process like this and have a couple issues of, maybe you're not hearing back quickly from the carrier, or it's taken a while. And we really see that it's pulling down the overall satisfaction for the industry. And particularly in the areas really hard hit. So like the central states in the country had a lot of this volatile weather, a lot of repeated events happening. And that's that really key area where carriers have a lot of exposures in that middle of the country. Those carriers saw some really kind of sharp declines in our results this year.
Yeah, well, of course, claims and insurance, the fine print around that is usually a good bedtime read if you're looking for a good nap. But unfortunately, it's all very important, especially when you consider what you were laying out a moment ago, which is the number of billion-dollar disasters as measured by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, combined with the insurability of certain regions and the claims processes taking longer here. What would you describe? How would you define the state of insurance right now?
I mean, it's been in a pretty tough spot, I'd say, on the home side. The home side of the business, if you look at it from the combined ratio, like what the carriers are paying out versus the money they're bringing in, it has been negative now. They have lost money. The estimates are about 105 combined ratio, so they're losing 5 cents of every dollar they bring in. That's the 24 calendar year results, but it's been that way for 5 years in a row and 6 of the last 7 years. So this catastrophic weather, I mean, it is at a crisis point now where it is a pretty consistent, happening on the home side that they are losing money on that business, right? They're paying out way more in claims. The loss ratio, what they're exactly paying out in claims, we just achieved like the highest point in the last 20 years, just 2 years ago.
I wonder, because I want to give folks some actionable tips here. We do advice for people who are trying to set up their insurance claims, their insurability on perhaps a property or anything that they own here. What are some of your top reminders?
I mean, a good reminder, a good starting point is always, know your policy, review your policy, know what's covered, what's going to have some limitations or some partial coverage, know what's just excluded, so you're more informed kind of entering this process. That's always, I think, one clear starting point there. And there's some things that, customers are responsible for as they kind of approach this process, right? It's have as much information as you can ready to go. Right? Have stuff documented, whether it's receipts, get multiple estimates on things. We always say that's always a good tip, right? Get multiple estimates because just, as you would on any kind of work you're getting done, compare some prices, you get an understanding, make sure you're getting a good quote there. Some of the tips you have up here, right? Have a contractor, if that's going to help things, have them actually meet with you and the adjuster so they can have those conversations about it. We talked about the estimates here. Kind of worst case, if things aren't. Another point we make about knowing your policy is some policies can have an appraisal clause. So if you are having kind of a dispute over how much money they're going to pay, you may opt out into this other process that has third-party people get involved and actually help determine the ultimately kind of the value of what they're going to cover. Those are a couple things. We also see digital tools can help. So a lot of carriers are offering, hey, submit photos that can help move things along. You can have the option of using digital tools to itemize your contents and capture some of the loss around the home. So a lot of those things can also help kind of speed the process along. So we certainly advocate use those tools as they're available to help move things along.
Mark, thanks so much for taking the time here with us.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.